None, your worship.
None. No disclosure of interests.
None, your worship.
No presentation.
Nope.
Everybody's had the minutes of council meeting of Monday, June the 1st, 2020. Had a chance to read them over. Any errors or omissions? Okay. I need a mover and a seconder for be resolved that the minutes of Monday, June the 1st, 2020 regular meeting of council be approved as presented. All in favor? Gord and Sarah. All in favor? Two. Bylaws. We have no bylaws.
None, your worship.
Correspondence. We have a few correspondence. One from Ontario Energy Board. Enbridge Gas has applied for approval of a system expansion surcharge, a temporary connection surcharge, and an hourly allocation factor. The surcharges are used to cover the cost of natural gas expansions projects, and the allocation factor is used to assess feasibility of projects. And they want a 0.23%. I don't really know what that means here, but the Ontario Energy Board will hold a public hearing to consider the application filed by Enbridge Gas. During the hearing, we will question Enbridge Gas, and we will also hear questions and arguments from individuals that have registered to participate in the OEB hearing. At the end of this hearing, the OEB will decide whether to approve this application. I know where I'm going.
Albert, what does that really mean, this letter?
Basically, what they're asking is for an increase in gas prices is what they're
Increase,
saying.
that's
So they have to go through a process by getting approval. And then they have to have stakeholder consultation prior to getting any kind of approval. That's the process.
Is this just a surcharge on if you're going to add to any gas lines? That's a surcharge if, say, I want to build a house, they're going to add it on, or is it everybody?
It's not really clear in there. That's the question that we'll probably have to follow up on.
How do we become part of the group of people that will question what this is all about?
You have to make a submission to request so you can be heard. And we can do that from the municipal office for a counselor.
Good. Thank you.
There's nothing here where it says who to get a hold of, eh?
No, it's for information, but they'll be coming up, I believe, Your Worship, with some additional information on time and dates where these hearings are going to be held.
I just see a lot of these type of things that come through, whether they're in the newspaper or whatever, and essentially it's kind of a rubber stamp thing, and I just want to know a bit more as to what it's about.
Yeah. There's the deadline was June 9th for an oral hearing. On the bottom it says that.
Yeah, but you got written submissions you can go with. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to, we got one from Doug Downey, Attorney General.
That's in regards to our liability insurance, Your Worship.
Yeah. I can read this whole thing if you want. I appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts on issues of municipal insurance costs in Ontario. Municipalities have shared with our government concerns about increasing insurance costs and the impact they can have on property taxes and municipal taxpayers. That is why our government has held consultations on joint and several liability municipalities across Ontario this past fall. One thing that became very obvious to us throughout the consultation process is that municipalities have a wealth of knowledge. While it is helpful for municipalities to be sharing best practices to limit liabilities and reduce costs with governments, we think it would be even more helpful to find ways to help municipalities share best practices with each other. In your email, you suggested the government consider providing insurance for policies to municipalities. Our government will continue engaging with our municipality partners in options for the next step and hold honest conversations to find a solution that builds strong communities and projects with people. Doug Downey.
Yes, the issue here was that in 2 years, our insurance premium has gone up $43,000. That's significant for a community of this size. Last year it went up 23,000. This year it went up 19,000. So that's significant when you're talking 119,000 for liability insurance for a municipality of this size. And that's why I think council requested that I write a letter to the minister. This is the second one within the 2 years time frame that I've been here that we've written on the same subject matter, and basically they're looking into it. My suggestion would be when you go to NOMA is make this a point where all the municipalities work collectively together to see if you can reduce the cost of your insurance premiums. I'm just imagining what the larger municipalities are paying. And I guess what we're going to have to do as a collective here, we're going to have to sit down and go through our insurance policy, which is very complex, and look at what we're going to insure and what we're not going to insure to save some costs.
Yeah. Maybe NOMA can do something for us.
Is this something that could start with Quad Council between the
It could. It's
communities there?
something we could bring up, yeah. Who has Quad Council next?
We
Am I-
do. We
We
do. Here,
do?
we're next.
But it's bigger than that. Like, that's provincially. We all probably are facing
Yeah.
challenges with insurance, right? Like, this is a NOMA issue, don't you think?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You can't leave NOMA out of this. No.
No, we
No, you
need
can't leave NOMA out of
like
this.
the proper representation to get the point across.
I think it's also important that the Association of Municipalities of Ontario get heavily involved.
For
AMO.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And we have one from the District of Thunder Bay Social Service Board. It's that one that we don't really get much out of. A lot of things passed and financial reports and stuff like that. The only one, this one here is,
Just for information, yours.
I wanted to draw to your attention this memo from the May 22nd meeting regarding the suggestion by the Ontario municipalities of Ontario for the District Social Service Administration Board to take over Ontario Provincial Police Detachment Board duties. The board voted unanimously to submit a letter in opposition to this suggestion and address the President of AMO and the Solicitor General of Ontario. And then in the back, it said, the board passed a resolution directing the chair to send a letter to the President of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario and the Solicitor General for Ontario to indicate that the board is not in agreement with Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board becoming an Ontario Provincial Police Detachment Board. So I don't think you'll see them becoming a board. Then we have one from this one from Town of Oakville, I guess. I've written to the Attorney General Doug Downey to request urgent actions to ensure the safe and speedy reintroduction of patio services for restaurants in Ontario. I am concerned that as a result of the Alcohol and Gaming Commission not reviewing patio applications during this time period, there will be a significant bottleneck in the application process for our restaurants when the province lifts its provincial restrictions. Well, I was watching on TV tonight, and I see places in Thunder Bay where tables outside and 4 or 5 people sitting at a table, not 6 feet apart, like I thought we were supposed to be. So they've relaxing that, I guess.
Well, that's where, like, I think this came out before, because now when they open up the restaurants, they say, well, you have to sit outside. So I think this kind of has been bypassed since they wrote it.
Yeah. But before, I seen where they were, when they first opened the restaurants, they were shutting every second booth down, keeping the people apart. Well, this is outside patios with people sitting, 5, 6 people at a table. Because that's what I thought we could maybe do down below at the back of the recreation center, but I don't guess not.
Question for Albert. I noticed that this Rob Burton, he's the mayor of the heck's the town, Oakville, but he's also the CEO. How can that be?
CEO of what? I guess that's my question. Chief
Well,
Executive
no.
Officer, if he's the mayor of Oakville, then he's the mayor of Oakville. I don't, unless he's a,
Look at the final signature. Mayor Rob Burton, BAMS, Head of Council and CEO.
Well, they're all backing that up.
yeah,
That's right.
basically he is the Chief Executive Officer plus the mayor in the legislation, I believe here. I don't know if I got that handy here or not, Cam.
Wouldn't that be a conflict to be CEO of a municipality and the mayor?
No.
He wouldn't be head of council and CEO.
No, he can't be.
No, just that the mayor, head of council and CEO is backing this whole thing up with the mayor. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
But I got this piece down the bottom I should have read off. I didn't. Attached is a motion that the Oakville Town Council pass to enable the provision of temporary commercial services outdoors patio associated with existing restaurants, and a news article from our local paper on this initiative. Town staff have proactively begun to accept and review patio applications. Thank you for your support. I don't know how they really wanted our support. But like you say, this is an old.
Got to remember our meetings now. And you know, when we get this information, by the time some of this comes up, it's already being discussed with the provincial jurisdiction, right?
Yep.
When we talked about patios, well, like you say, the date on this is June the 2nd that I got it, and it's come to you now on June the 15th. That's already been covered by Premier Ford.
Okay. Okay, let's move on here then. Albert, you don't have a report tonight, so report of the municipality officer.
No, and there's no payment vouchers either, Your Worship.
Okay, Blair, you have a report?
Yes, I do. Water treatment and distribution, QMS, DWS update. I don't have anything to report at this time for that. Spring hydrant flushing began on June 8th and continued through the week. We finished that up last Friday. Drinking water system operators work together with AGUS to superchlorinate and conduct bacteriological testing for the new branch main that will serve the new wastewater treatment plant. Once results from this testing have been cleared from the lab, the main can be open for service. Those tests have been cleared last week, so they can go ahead and charge the new building, and the plumber or the contractor that's doing the plumbing can check all the plumbing then. Seasonal water service lines that provide water to marina docks, fuel kiosks, and some potable water taps in the park have been charged and flushed. Samples were collected from these areas and submitted to ALS labs for bacteriological testing, and all those tests have cleared also. So the water at the park is good to go. Drinking water training providers have been advertising some opportunities for operator training through webinars while COVID-19 restrictions are in place. Keewatin Training Center of Dryden is looking at resuming training for small groups. This would allow for local training at through the center at Lake Helen. Approval would still need to be granted from the Red Rock Indian Band before training could take place at the reserve. Jim Haskell is the trainer in Lake Helen, and he hasn't got back to me with the band's decision as of yet. But we'd like to take advantage of that opportunity if we can.
Yeah.
Weekly water samples were collected and sent to ALS labs from May 18th to June 12th. No adverse test results were received. Water meter readings were done for the month of May on June 1st. UV sensor verifications were performed at the water treatment plant for May, and standby power was tested at the water treatment plant in May. Wastewater collection and treatment, 1 load of screenings was hauled to the landfill over the course of this reporting period. Both lift stations on Highway 628 sewer extension have required some servicing this spring to remove blockages from pumps. Most recently, the standby pump at lift station 1 had to be pulled to remove a blockage. It's not common that we have this much trouble with those pumps, so in the future, we'd like to get those wet wells cleaned out with a hydrovac truck. A1 sewage service was in town on June 5th for pump outs at Marina Park for outhouses, the pump out holding tank at the kiosk. Additional work was planned for the wastewater plant, but had to be postponed due to project excavation for the new influent line. This work can be done at a later date with the additional cleaning of lift station wet wells. And standby power was tested at the wastewater treatment facility for May. That's all I have.
Any questions for Blair's report?
Blair, number 1 lift station, where is that?
Just past Trout Creek Bridge, the first bridge.
The one by the CN?
Yep,
that is?
the one that
Yeah.
they're currently working on, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Blair, is the hydrant flushing complete through the town?
Yes, we finished that up last Friday.
And then as far as the water park goes, has it been tested? Like, is it a lot of work to get that thing tested to make sure it's running and then shut it back down? Like, is there a lot of antifreeze and stuff in the system?
No, you mean the splash pad, are you talking?
Yeah, the splash pad, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't turned that on as of yet. It really hasn't been warm enough to get too excited about it yet, I think. But I guess we are allowed to open them up, I guess, at this point. We haven't really talked about it yet, but
We will be opening it up, I take it, this summer.
I'm imagining if we're allowed to, yeah.
We need to look at the logistics, counselor, what the requirements are going to be, provincial requirements, and we got to make sure we have the logistics in place for liability reasons as well. And I just want to make a mention, Councillor Didasco, that when you say Mayor Rob Burton, he is the head of council, and also by the legislation, he is the chief executive officer under the Municipal Act. He's called a mayor, but he's also CEO, and it's identified in the Municipal Act. So he uses off and on. Sometimes he uses the 2 titles. Sometimes he just say Mayor Burton or Mayor Nelson, but he can use the CEO title as well. It's in the legislation.
It just seems a conflict in my thinking.
It's just the terminology that they have in the Municipal Act, identify that he is the head of council, so he's the chief executive officer. Chief administrative officer oversees the operations. He looks after governments and policies, et cetera, and works collectively with administration. It's a title, that's all.
Thanks, Blair. Does Public Works give a report next meeting too?
So, Your Worship, this report Gerald made, but unfortunately he can't attend tonight. So either you can read his reports, see if there's any questions, or if council had a chance to read his report, if they got any questions, I guess Blair can answer those questions.
No, I have no report. Any of the councillors have any question on the report?
I just have one comment. I think, unfortunately, we need to advise again about flushing personal wipes, diapers, big items down your toilet. I don't know what people are thinking. It's clogging, it's going to cause issue, which eventually is going to cost the township money. So maybe a reminder on the township website again to be doing that. Not to be doing that, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Also, besides the website, perhaps also on the post office or things of that sort to get a broader application for those people that aren't website friendly.
What we could do, if this is pleasing to council, we can send out a notice in regards to that. And we can also include a notice that, please keep your lawns cut.
Could
That's the
be
big one. That's
actually
the big one.
a reminder could be sent in their water bills, can it not?
Yes, they can
Yeah,
be.
it can.
That'd be towards the end of the month, though.
That's a good
July.
idea.
I mean,
I'd like-
we can go online right now with our township site and Facebook and stuff, but maybe maybe a few of the seasonal topics
Yep.
could be put in the water bills.
Good idea.
Good idea.
I think I would like to see something go out very shortly though on the lawn, grass cutting and probably what you put in flushing down the sewer too. But I think that should be done pretty soon because I drove around town today and our town is getting to look pretty sorrowful the way the grass is in some people's yards.
We can put it on the website, and as Councillor Robinson suggested, Your Worship, we can send out a flyer with the water bills. How's that sound?
See, we always had manpower. We could send somebody out to cut the grass and put it on their taxes.
We have to, yes, but we got to notify them, Your Worship, and we got to allow time for them to cut. And if they don't, then we have the grounds to go in and cut.
Well, there's a lawn over here that just behind us here. Cam can see it from his house. That you can't use a lawnmower on it now. You got to use a heavy-duty whippersnapper. It's so high, and that's a shame. I don't know if there's anybody living in the house or have to look into that. Blair, you might know. It's a duplex over here beside Warders, and well, right beside Trevor. I don't know if there's anybody in that house.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the homeowner.
Yeah.
But I believe, yeah.
It's not the only one. There's a few around town that should be notified to clean up. Another thing I'd like to bring up, it's not, well, it's got to do with this report. I think we've got 5 people all together right now. I think we need 2 more people for cutting grass. You drive around town and see what these guys are doing, and they're working hard. They're not goofing off or anything, but it's not enough. I think we need 2 more. I know we've got the rec closed, the marina's closed, so we're saving money there. I think we should be able to put money out for 2 more grass cutters. I would like to see that happen. What's your feelings?
Don't we have students that are coming?
Pardon?
There's students that are coming. Public Works is getting students, are they not?
That's all we've got is what's down there right now. We've got what?
Got 5 students right now.
Yeah, 2 of them are down in kiosks.
Yeah, 2 at the marina, 3 grass cutters.
3 kids and these are kids that never worked for the town before. So I don't know if some of them ever run a lawnmower before, the way that some of the boulevards are being cut.
Well, I think possibly before we look at our human resources and we look at training and ensure that proper training is done.
Well, where are we finding the time for training? We got to have these people out there now.
Well,
If I could just say
you
that-
have to find time for training. That's
Yeah.
that's bottom line. When you get new students and new helpers, you have to train them. We're obligated to train them.
Yeah, well.
So I wasn't expecting to have the conversation about students, and for me, I feel as though it's a conflict for me, but I think that it's a conversation that maybe Albert should be having with Gerald, right? When it comes to sort of human resources and the workforce that we have for the summer. So that potentially could happen at another meeting.
Just keep in mind that we brought back 2 recreation staff like we do usually every year. We got them working as well, and we got 5 students. Last year we had 8 students.
Yeah.
However, we paid out 60-some thousand dollars because we had to pay for some of those students that come in, right? So it's kind of crunch time, but we can look at it. I'm not saying it's not doable. We'll have that conversation with Harold and see what we can do.
I'm going to declare a conflict of interest, but I also think that's an operational, and it should be between Albert and both the co-superintendents.
Well, I'd like to sit down with Albert and the superintendent too on this, because I think I should have a little bit of say of it too. But because it's something I really want done, I'd like to see happen. You know, to keep our town up. Because I've heard from people that drive in here. Pretty little town, but they cut the grass, but they don't go back to Whippersnip. Just go up on the boulevard in front of my place, take a look. It's a mess up there.
Well, they've only been out a couple weeks, so I mean, it's.
Yeah. Well, we can leave what we got there. Don't matter to me. I just think we need 2 more. I talked to. I heard stories about Nipigon not hiring anybody. They hired 8, and 5 of them they're funding themselves without a grant. 5 of them they're paying themselves.
Can I give you a call back? I'm in a meeting right now.
So we should be able to cut pay too. But I had my say on that. It's up to you. We'll move on. Fire chief's monthly report. We don't have no fire chief report this month.
I believe you do have it. I don't know if I thought I seen it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I haven't come across it.
Yeah, we do have it. June 11th to June 15th, but there's nothing really much on it. Just basically his standard. Do you see it, Your Worship?
I don't have it.
Has any other councillors got it?
I've got it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's there. It's on the agenda.
The Worship hasn't got a copy of it.
Okay, whoever got a copy, you want to read it out? I don't have a copy.
Cam, you're the rep. You want to do it?
Sure. Red Rock Fire Department monthly report to council. Can people hear me?
Yep.
Prepared June the 11th, 2020 for council, June 15th, 2020. Training meetings, no trainings for the month of May due to COVID-19. Callouts, May 11th, 2020, 91 Stadler Avenue, structural fire, electrical fire and wall. May 17th, 2020, 30 Taylor Avenue, natural gas odor. May 17th, Highway 628 between Buchanan Road and Road number 2, brush grass fire. May 18th, end of Taylor Avenue, motor vehicle accident.
We had this last meeting, didn't we?
Total calls to date, 12.
But I've never seen this.
Special training, nothing to report. Fire prevention and protection, nothing to report. Public relations, nothing to report. Personnel, regular department strength 26, present strength 22. Communication desk operators 2, included in present strength. Fire prevention officer 1, included in present strength. CEMC 1, included in present strength. Junior firefighter 3, not included in the department strength. I just wanted to point out the CEMC, that's the Community Emergency Measures Control. That person will be retiring as of the end of this month. CFO activity, Chief Fire Officer activity, mail, email, and phone calls, vehicle equipment and hall monthly maintenance, weekly updates of the OFMEM regarding PPE and department strength, weekly meetings for 2020 Fire Con planning committees, bi-weekly captains meetings, updating members' files and added training they have completed to file, get quotes for equipment for the capital budget, and weekly emergency control group meetings. Recommendations to council, none. And that's the end of Fire Chief Petrie's report.
Thanks, Cam. Any questions on that, on fire chief's report? Wait till he's here anyways. Okay, reports of committees, unfinished business, Federation of Canada Municipality Grant Opportunity. What did I do with that one?
I can speak on that if you want, Your Worship.
Yeah. This is the research consulting software? No.
No, Your Worship, this is the consulting, consulting software, but it's the group that we used last year, 2018 and 19, in regards
Yep.
to our asset management program development, which is a requirement from the government. You remember last year that prior to my arrival, the Township of Red Rock applied for a $50,000 grant to do certain components of the asset management. And this is phase 2, going into the asset management that identifies as you go through it at the back of the page 16, it identifies the phase 2 asset management training, city right systems training and on-site workshops, risk frameworks and developments, life cycle framework and development, and service level framework and development, which totals $57,600. We did apply to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, no municipalities that applied for the asset management program has got any word on approval. Therefore, there's another alternative. We can go and try to, like last year, the Federation of Municipalities, where they'll pay 90%. So technically our share will be $5,760. As we move forward to apply for grants, this is a requirement, a provincial regulation that's going to be really looked upon in regards to getting approval for grants, and also for our financial stability as we move forward on our infrastructure. And as we go into the second phase, it gets more complex. And it's a necessity, so we know where we stand on our assets and plus our infrastructure needs and age and replacement. So the purpose of this is just to agree so that they can apply for the grant. We don't know if we're going to get approval, but we might as well apply for it and see what happens. And if we do, then our commitment will be $5,760. And that can be taken from basically our operating budget towards the cost of this initiative, or some other grant that might be made available in regards to some of these additional costs that we're experiencing with COVID-19.
Albert, you said 5,700. I noticed on 15,600.
That's incorrect, Cam. Basically, I had a new resolution that was passed because the 15,600, if you look on page 16, pertained to the overall one of 96, I think of 96,000 in total. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you look at the 57.6, 90% is paid. 15,600 was an error. We corrected that today. And so the total amount is 5,760.
And also, Albert, isn't this part of the strategic plan that our council has gotten, or our town has gotten into with SAGE? Doesn't it somewhat tie into that?
Asset management is a key component of a corporate review as well, but it's also a provincial requirement. It goes hand in hand.
Any other questions on that? Okay, move on to new business.
We'll need, if council's in agreement to that, Your Worship, I think you should have a resolution to that effect, would you not? Mover and seconder?
Probably have here someplace.
Okay.
Okay, right here. Yeah, I found one. I hate these meetings. We gotta get back to the way we had them before. I need a mover or a seconder to be it resolved the corporate social media policy A24 be adopted and presented.
That's not the correct one, Your Worship. I'm sorry. We're dealing with council directs staff to apply for a grant opportunity for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program. Have you got that? Has any other councillors got the resolution?
To apply for the grant?
That's correct.
Okay, I found it.
Okay,
I got more papers going here to. I need a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that council directs staff to apply for a grant opportunity from the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Municipal Asset Management Program for asset management program development in Red Rock. Be it therefore resolved that the Township of Red Rock commit to conducting the following activities in its proposed project submitted to the FCM's Municipal Asset Management Program to advance our asset management program. Zero regular 588-17 compliance asset management plan, level of service framework development, asset management training. Be it further resolved that the Township of Red Rock commit $5,760 from its operating budget towards the cost of this initiative. I need a mover.
Here we go again.
Gord. Cam. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, now where are we here?
New business. New business.
New business, corporate social media policy. I got more than one on it.
there's 3 policies, your worship, that council wanted drafted.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read them all out because
No, there's no need.
they're long.
There's no need.
Yeah, you guys all got them.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think it's moving in the right direction. We're a little bit behind the times. Most corporations or businesses have this type of policy. We've had them for years in EMS. Every year, we actually have to go through the policy and procedure manual and just sign off on the front of the binder that we've gone through it. So we're refreshed on basically what your job is and your role within the corporation. So I think it's a good thing. Some might not like it, but that's just the way the world is now. So
Yeah, I fully support it. I think it's long
Yeah.
overdue.
Most businesses have that now, eh? I think they pretty well all going that way now, yeah. Okay. That's the employee conduct, that's the same, you've got that. I don't know if you want me to read that out. Not necessary, eh?
No, your worship, you passed the corporate policies to council. You had the corporate social media policy A24, you had the social personal use policy A25, and you got the employee conduct code of conduct policy A26. I basically can just read out the resolution, get a second.
Yep.
It'll be on the website anyways.
Through some of these papers here. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder to be resolved that the corporate social media policy A24 be adopted as presented. The mover, Gord. Seconder. All in favor? Thank you. I need a mover and a seconder. To be it resolved, the social media personnel use policy A25 be adopted as presented. The mover? Keith. Seconder? All in favor? Thank you. Need a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that the employee's code of conduct policy A26 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Or I need a mover. Okay, we got there. Cam. Gord. All in favor? Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna need a mover and a seconder for be resolved, the council move in camera at 7:37 p.m., 7:37 p.m., 7:37 p.m. in order to address a matter pertaining to personal matters about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. All in favor, or I need a mover? Seconder? Okay. All in favor? Yep.
I'd ask that everybody just mute their mics now, and I guess we're going in camera now, right, your worship?
Okay, now I'll mute this thing, mute right down, get down there. How in the hell do you get this?
Hey, Albert?
Yeah,
Yeah, your mic's on.
was it?
Gary's on his way.
I'll be so glad when this.
Cam, remember your mic is on.
That was spelled with a PH.
Okay.
Gary, your mic's on too. Sorry, your mic's on.
Mhm.
Am I on?
You're on.
Okay, I need a motion and moved by and seconded by, be resolved that council come out of in camera. Oh, Sarah. And second by, moved by Sarah, second by Turkeys, be resolved. Council come out of camera at 7:55. Yeah, I'm all in favor? Thank you. Man, oh man. Well, nothing else. I guess we can adjourn. I need a mover and a seconder. That this meeting be adjourned at 7:57.
Gary, do you just have to mention what we discussed in camera, that it was about the school bursary for high school?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Guess I should have before we come out of camera. But when we're in camera, that's all we talked about. We looked over and picked out the student that's going to get the bursary this year. Okay, I need a mover and a seconder to adjourn. Moved by Sarah, second. Need a seconder, Darkies. All in favor? And we are adjourned.
Have a
Thank you
good
very
night,
much.
everyone.
Good night.
Have a
Night,
good one.
everyone.